pido con cariño, te suplico no te vayas a morir en las montañas.
My name is Jazmin and this is my story. I was born in Jalisco, Mexico, where I spent 9 amazing childhood years. In Mexico, my parents owned a small restaurant. It was the only restaurant in our small town, so everyone in the town loved coming in to grab some hamburguesas de camarón, tortas or cóctel de camarones y ceviche los domingos. Every night was a busy day at our restaurant, but weekends were busy all day. My mother's dream was to visit her siblings in the US. Most of them had immigrated to California when they were teenagers, except her. Thanks to the restaurant, my parents were able to save money and apply for a US visa for our family. I remember the day we got our visa. My mother cried of happiness. I don't remember feeling any certain way. I guess I was too small to understand what was happening. All I knew was that my parents wanted to take us on a month trip to a different country to meet my mom's side of the family. The day before leaving to the airport, my dad's family threw a surprise goodbye party. I did not understand why we needed a party before leaving, but now, 15 years later, that party is the last memory I have of our family gathering and the last hugs and kisses from my grandpa. Solo nos vamos a ir por un mes. That was the plan. But 1 month passed by and then a year until we lost our visa. My parents did not lie about the 1 month vacation, but their experience in the US opened new doors for them and our family. My uncles persuaded my parents. They told them they could find a job here and earn more money than what they were getting from the restaurant. They also talked to them about the opportunities that my sisters and I would have here. It was a hard decision for them. They knew that their business was slowing down and that they did not earn enough money to send my older sister to college one day. My uncle, who worked in the fields, earned more money than what my parents earned selling food. We overstayed our visa because my parents wanted to give us a better life and a better education. They struggled finding a job because they did not speak English and did not have a work permit. I hated school because I felt so lost. Everyone had friends and understood each other. I had no friends and I struggled for 3 years to speak English because the schools that I attended did not offer any classes or programs to help students like me to learn English. My English teacher was the secretary of the school. I spent half a day with her at her office. She taught me words, phrases, and pronunciation. Back in my classroom, I couldn't understand my teacher and she couldn't understand me, so I felt helpless. I would cry to my mom every morning, hoping for her to let me stay at home because I felt so miserable in school, but she kept saying, "No puedes quedarte, tienes que aprender inglés, ya verás que con el tiempo vas a poder entenderlo y vas a tener amigos." I struggled a lot in school. Most of the students only spoke English to me. It wasn't until high school when I took ESL classes that I felt comfortable speaking. I loved going to school back in Mexico, but the first 3 years of school in the US were a nightmare. It was definitely a cultural shock for me. But my mother was right. My high school years were a lot better. I had a lot of friends. I was part of the basketball team and different clubs, and during my junior and senior year, I decided to take all the AP courses that my school offered. During that time, my parents started working in the fields, picking up dates, so during my summers, I would work with them to save some money for myself or to help my parents. I remember the first time I got out there. I felt so weak and almost fainted because of how humid and hot it was. But after a few days, I was able to acclimate to those conditions. I graduated from high school in 2012. I applied to different universities and got accepted to all of them, but I did not go because I didn't have the money to pay for it. My parents' income was just enough to cover for 1 year, but they had to feed a family of 7. I couldn't get any loans or apply to scholarships because I was undocumented. The only option was the nearest community college. I graduated just 2 months before DACA was created. I attended College of the Desert for 2.5 years, and with my DACA, I was able to pay for some of my classes and attend UCLA. Sadly, my older sister had to drop out of College of the Desert 4 years before I attended because my parents were not able to pay for her classes, and she knew that even if she had continued, she wouldn't have been able to find a job with no work authorization. I felt the same way when I was applying to COD, but then DACA news and it opened so many doors and opportunities. I was able to apply for financial aid through the DREAM Act program. I also received a Social Security and a work authorization card that allowed me to get a few summer jobs to pay for my rent and food. My last year at UCLA, I applied to advanced payroll, but I had to cancel my application just on time. I wanted to study in Brazil for a year, but the application was canceled after President Trump was elected. I was advised by the immigration lawyers of the university not to go out of the country because Trump had planned to remove advanced payroll and DACA, making it hard for DACA students to return to the States or to study abroad. In a way, I'm glad I didn't go to Brazil because the Trump administration did in fact remove advanced payroll and threatened to remove DACA program in 2017, just after accepting my offer letter from a graduate program. It was September 5th, 2017, I was working with my parents packing dates when we heard on the radio that the Trump administration was ending DACA. I was heartbroken by the news. I saw my future blurry. DACA has helped so many people like me who otherwise wouldn't be able to afford college or wouldn't be able to work in their dream job without work authorization. DACA has opened so many opportunities for me and for other people. And to know that all that hard work that you've been doing is in the hands of a few politicians who do not support us. It's just not right. My only crime was coming here as a kid to have a shot to a brighter future. Since 2017, we DACA recipients have been living in limbo. Some people want us back in our country. They say we don't belong here. For a lot of us, the US is all we know. Our roots have grown in both sides of the countries, and yet we sometimes feel like we don't belong in either. I am hopeful that one day we can live our life not worrying about our status being revoked. I also hope to one day travel to Mexico freely to see my family and reconnect with the land where I was born.
Yo no creo en fronteras, yo cruzaré, yo cruzaré, yo cruzaré.